I want you to take a moment and think about where you are right now, not just physically, but in your life, in your journey. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you're wondering if this is all there is. Maybe you've started to believe the people who told you to settle, to shrink your dreams, to stay in your lane. But deep down, you know that's not who you are. You were born for more. Now, I'm not just talking about success in the way the world defines it. I'm talking about more purpose, more impact, more connection, more courage, the kind that wakes you up in the morning not with dread, but with determination, the kind that dares you to take the first step, even when you're scared. Especially when you're scared, look, life will always offer you reasons to wait, to postpone, to tell yourself, I'll try tomorrow, or I'll start when things are better, when I feel more ready. But I'm here to tell you, there is no perfect time. There is only now, only today. Today is enough. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know every step. You just need to start, because the moment you do, something powerful happens. You begin to prove to yourself that you're not defined by your fears, your failures, or your past. You're defined by the future you choose to build. You were born with gifts no one else has, with a voice that can move others, with a story that can inspire. Don't let it sit in silence. Don't let doubt write the script of your life. The world doesn't just need more success stories. It needs more people who are willing to rise, when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when no one's cheering them on yet. So yes, you were born for more, and the only question left is, what are you waiting for? Start today. You are meant for a life of greater purpose, impact, and courage, not just survival. Too often, people fall into the trap of believing that life is simply about getting by, that their purpose is confined to routine or meeting basic needs. Many find themselves caught in the grind, focusing on day-to-day survival, pushing their dreams aside and accepting mediocrity as their reality. But that's not why you're here. You weren't born just to pass through life unnoticed, to live in a constant cycle of aimlessness. Each of us is born with a unique set of talents, passions, and potential that goes far beyond merely existing. We all have a calling, a deeper purpose, something we're meant to contribute to the world around us. It's easy to lose sight of that purpose when the world around you is focused on external achievements or material gains, but deep down, you know there's more. You have the power to make a difference, to influence lives, to lift others up in ways that only you can. Your purpose is not just about achieving personal success, but about creating a ripple effect of positive change in the world. This purpose requires courage. It's not always easy to step outside of the safe zone of comfort and security. It requires vulnerability, the willingness to fail, and the ability to stand up again, no matter how many times life knocks you down. But this courage isn't reserved for a select few. It's a strength you have within you, waiting to be awakened. It's the kind of courage that empowers you to dream bigger than you ever thought possible, to break free from the limitations others have placed on you, and to defy the doubts that whisper you're not enough. True impact comes from living out this purpose. It's about being a force for good, showing up for others in ways that transform communities, organizations, and even just individual lives. Your impact doesn't have to be grandiose to be meaningful. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness or the simplest steps toward your dreams create the most lasting change. You were born to influence the world in a way that is uniquely yours. You have something special that no one else can offer. It's time to embrace it and start living in alignment with the purpose that calls to you from within. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take action now, because today is enough. There's a common belief that we need everything to be aligned perfectly before we can take the first step toward our goals. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I have more time, or I'll wait until I feel more confident. But waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. Perfection is elusive, and circumstances will never be completely ideal. There will always be obstacles, uncertainties, and challenges, but that doesn't mean you should delay pursuing what you're meant to do. In reality, the perfect moment doesn't exist. You'll never have everything in place, and you'll never feel fully ready. It's easy to fall into the mindset of "I'll start tomorrow," thinking that you'll have more clarity, more resources, or more energy later. But tomorrow is always just out of reach, and the more you wait, the more you miss out on the potential for growth, learning, and achievement today. The most important thing you can do is start, even if it's imperfect or messy. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Taking action today doesn't mean waiting for ideal conditions. It means being willing to step out despite the fear, the uncertainty, and the lack of resources. It's about committing to your future and saying, "I'm going to take responsibility for my journey right now." This mindset transforms the idea of waiting into one of doing. It shifts the focus from what you lack to what you already have the power to make change today. When you take that first step, you begin to build momentum. It's the act of starting that helps you grow, evolve, and refine your goals. Action sparks inspiration, even when it feels like nothing is falling into place. As you take steps, you'll learn. You'll encounter setbacks, but you'll gain wisdom from them. You'll meet people who will guide you, and opportunities will unfold that you couldn't have predicted. These moments wouldn't happen if you stayed in the waiting phase. By waiting for everything to be perfect, you're missing the chance to grow through the process. You have what you need right now. Today is the moment that matters. Don't wait for a sign, a change in circumstance, or for some future version of yourself. Start now, because today is enough to make progress toward the life you envision. You don't need to have all the answers to begin, just the willingness to start. Far too often, we convince ourselves that in order to pursue our dreams or make a change in our lives, we need to have everything figured out first. We think that before we can take that first step, we need to know the exact path, the exact strategy, and every possible outcome. This desire for certainty and control can paralyze us and hold us back from moving forward. But here's the truth. You don't need to have everything planned or mapped out in advance to begin. What you need is the courage to take that first step, even when the full picture is still unclear. The reality is, no one ever has all the answers from the start. Every successful journey is a result of learning as you go, of adapting to challenges, and adjusting your course based on new information and experiences. The most important thing is not having every detail figured out, but being willing to take action despite the uncertainty. There's no blueprint for success that works for everyone, and no one can predict exactly how things will unfold. What matters is your readiness to get started, even when the destination is not entirely visible. When you begin, you open yourself up to opportunities that wouldn't have presented themselves if you had waited. The act of starting creates momentum. It's the first step that sets everything in motion. You don't need to have everything figured out before you act, because the process of acting will help you figure it out. It's through taking risks, making mistakes, and facing obstacles that you learn what works and what doesn't. Each experience, each setback, teaches you something valuable and refines your understanding of where you want to go and how you'll get there. In fact, often, the biggest lesson comes from trying something that doesn't work. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to think of it as a failure, but it's not. It's simply part of the process. Mistakes and challenges are not roadblocks. They are stepping stones. They give you feedback that helps you grow, and they provide clarity. The answers you're seeking often reveal themselves only once you start moving. As you move forward, you'll gain the clarity you need piece by piece, day by day. The idea that you need to know everything up front holds you back from even trying. It creates unnecessary pressure and fear of failure. But success doesn't come from having all the answers before you begin. It comes from being willing to start, being willing to evolve, and being willing to trust that each step will bring you closer to the life you desire. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Trust yourself enough to begin now with what you know and let the journey shape the rest. You are not defined by your past or your fears, but by the future you choose to create. So often, we allow our past experiences, whether they be failures, mistakes, or missed opportunities, to dictate our future. We get caught in the cycle of regret or self-doubt, thinking that because we've stumbled before, we'll always be prone to stumbling. Or perhaps the fears we've carried with us for so long become the lens through which we view everything in our lives. The fear of rejection, of failure, or of not being good enough can be overwhelming, and it can hold us back from reaching our full potential. But here's the liberating truth. You don't have to let your past or your fears control who you are today or who you become tomorrow. Your past doesn't define you. Yes, your experiences have shaped you, and the lessons you've learned are valuable, but they do not dictate your future. The mistakes you've made, the moments you've wished you could do over, they are part of your journey, but they are not the final word on who you are. It's easy to get trapped in the narrative of "I've failed before, so I'll fail again." But failure is not a permanent label. It's simply a stepping stone on the way to success. The key is not to let it define you, but to learn from it and keep moving forward. Similarly, your fears don't need to dictate your actions. Fear is a natural part of life. It's something everyone faces. It's that voice inside that says, "What if it doesn't work out?" Or "What if you're not good enough?" But fear is not a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you are pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, that you are about to embark on something that matters. The truth is, the only way to overcome fear is to face it head on, to act in spite of it. And with each step you take, you'll find that your fear starts to lose its grip on you. What defines you is the future you choose to create. You have the power to decide what comes next in your life. The choices you make from this moment forward will shape who you are becoming. It's about what you do today in this moment that matters. Every decision you make, no matter how small, takes you one step closer to the person you are meant to be. Your future is built on the actions you take now. You can choose to focus on what you haven't done yet, what you regret, or where you've fallen short. Or you can choose to embrace the power of possibility. You can choose to envision a future where you've grown beyond your past, where your fears no longer control you, and where you have become the person you are capable of becoming. You can choose to rise above what once held you back, to rewrite the story of your life and take the steps necessary to create the future you desire. It's important to remember that growth isn't linear, and the road to becoming your best self is rarely smooth. But what matters is that you continue moving forward despite the setbacks, despite the doubts, and despite the fear. The person you are today is not who you will be tomorrow, unless you choose to let your past or your fears have the final say. You are defined by the future you choose to pursue, the life you decide to create from this moment onward. Your unique voice, story, and gifts matter. Use them to make a difference. In a world that often encourages conformity and blending in, it's easy to forget just how powerful your individuality truly is. You may look around and see people who seem to have it all figured out, and it's tempting to think that your voice, your experiences, or your talents don't matter as much as theirs. But the truth is, the world needs your uniqueness, your perspective, and your contributions more than ever. No one else has lived your life, faced your challenges, or possesses the exact combination of experiences and talents that you do. This is your superpower, the ability to make an impact in ways no one else can. Each of us has a story, a narrative shaped by our lives, our struggles, and our triumphs. Your story, even with all of its highs and lows, is valuable. It's not just a collection of events, but a source of wisdom and strength that can inspire others. When you share your experiences, whether through speaking, writing, creating, or simply connecting with others, you open up the possibility for others to relate, to learn, and to heal. There are people out there who are waiting for your story to resonate with them, to show them that they're not alone, that they, too, can overcome what they're facing. But it's not just your story that matters, it's your voice. The way you express your thoughts, your ideas, and your values is uniquely yours. Your voice has the power to influence, to inspire, and to challenge the status quo. It doesn't have to be loud or commanding to be effective. Sometimes the most powerful voices are the quiet, steady ones that speak with authenticity and purpose. Your words, whether spoken or written, can plant seeds of change in the hearts and minds of others. Don't ever underestimate the power of your voice. No matter how big or small you think it is, it can move mountains when it aligns with your purpose. Moreover, your gifts, whether they are artistic, analytical, compassionate, or technical, are tools meant to be shared. Too often, we hide our talents out of fear or self-doubt. We wonder if we're good enough, if anyone will appreciate what we have to offer. But your gifts were not given to you to keep to yourself. They were meant to be used to create something bigger than you. Whether it's through your work, your relationships, or your community, you have the potential to leave a lasting mark on the world. Don't wait for someone else to give you permission to share what you have to offer. The world needs you to step forward, to bring your gifts into the light, and to use them to make a difference in whatever way you can. And while it's important to embrace your individuality, it's equally important to recognize that your gifts are meant to serve others. The impact you make doesn't always have to be grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as helping someone else find their voice, or using your talents to solve a problem in your community. Every contribution counts. When you share your gifts with others, you create a ripple effect that has the potential to transform lives in ways you might never even see. So don't hide your story. Don't shrink away from using your voice. Don't hold back your gifts. The world is waiting for you to show up and offer what only you can give. Whether it's through your actions, your words, or the way you show up for others, your unique contributions matter. You are born with something valuable inside of you. The only question is, are you ready to share it with the world? True growth comes from living out this purpose. It's about being a force for good, showing up for others in ways that transform communities, organizations, and even just individual lives. Your impact doesn't have to be grandiose to be meaningful. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness or the simplest steps toward your dreams create the most lasting change. You were born to influence the world in a way that is uniquely yours. You have something special that no one else can offer. It's time to embrace it and start living in alignment with the purpose that calls to you from within. We often look at people who are making a difference and think they must have it all figured out. But the truth is, they're simply people who decided to act. They made the decision to take what they had, however imperfect, and use it to move forward. Whether they're inspiring others through their work, helping in their communities, or making a difference on a global scale, they didn't wait for perfect circumstances or for everything to fall into place. They understood that the most important thing is to begin. Your growth, too, will come through the willingness to step into the unknown and keep moving, even when you don't have all the answers. Remember, it's not about how big or small your impact is, it's about showing up. The small acts matter. The quiet encouragement you offer, the ideas you bring to the table, the care you show to the people around you, all of these ripple outward. You can never truly know the full extent of the impact you're making. But that's not the point. The point is to live in alignment with who you are, to make choices each day that reflect the person you want to become, and to trust that by doing so, you are contributing to something greater than yourself. True growth also comes from the understanding that this journey is not a solo endeavor. It's about lifting others up as you go. It's about recognizing that the more we help one another, the more we all grow. By showing up for others, whether through support, encouragement, or simply by being present, we build stronger communities and better connections. Your success is intertwined with the success of those around you. Together we rise. Together we create change. So, yes, you were born for more, more than just existing, more than just getting by. You were born to have an impact, to grow, and to inspire. But it all starts with you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel completely ready. Take the first step, no matter how small, and trust that it will lead to the next, and the next. You are capable of achieving more than you can imagine. The future is in your hands, and today is the moment to begin shaping it. So start now, because you were born for more, and the world is waiting for you to show up and make your mark. Thank you.